Welcome to another unit in this SPSS course. In this unit, I'm going to talk about how we can use the R essentials for SPSS. So first off, what are the R essentials for SPSS? Well, maybe you heard about R as a different statistics program, which, well, on the upside has a bit more functionalities than SPSS has, but on the downside is a bit less user-friendly in its pure form. And well, the R essentials are actually a solution to this problem because you can refer to most of the R functionalities in the already well-known SPSS environment. So, first advantage, for example, in the syntax, we can use most of our R commands. And we also get additional commands, parts in our menus, which we can use in the way we already know from SPSS. So we have a nice user interface on top of the functionalities of R. Okay, so much for the background, what this is. How can I actually get those R essentials? Well, you could just go to Google and then start with R essentials, and then type in SPSS statistics, and then for completion's sake add GitHub, because this will directly lead you to the page where you can get them. And then usually the first or the second one, so in other words the one where it says releases and not wiki, that's the one where you should click. This directly leads you here to IBM Predictive Analytics R Essential Statistics. And you see here for the different releases of SPSS, the corresponding installer for the R plugins. Here in this version, I'm mostly using still 23, so I would click here on 23. Then there's basically two parts to this. First off, here I have my installers, depending on which system you're running. So here, if you're with Windows, you could use one of those two installers. If you want to, however, use them, first you need to install R. And well, before you can install R, you need to know which version of R you have to install. Because this is a bit critical here. It doesn't work with all versions. For example, if I have SPSS 23, it requires R in a version of 3.1. So if I download the newest version of R, which at this point is 4.0, there will be a problem. He just won't work with this. So if I want to know which version is required, I can check down here the installation documents. They will tell me which version of R I require. So for example, with 23, I would need R 3.1. Okay, so I can get this. I can download the installer here. I can find out which version of R I require. Then I can simply go back to Google and then search here for R download. That's the easiest and fastest way to find this, because the first page I get here will be my main installer page. The downside at this point, he directly points to the newest version. As I said, 4.0 might be a problem for us because this won't work with SPSS 23. So if I'm looking for older versions, I can go down here to previous releases. If I click here, I see most of those available since 2000, and well, especially all those required for me for the corresponding R essentials. So if I were looking for R 3.1, I could use this one here and get here the corresponding installer for Windows. Well, then I can install first R, then the R essentials. Then I can start SPSS. So if I switch to SPSS, I will see here I have the menu Utilities. In the lower part, I have extension bundles. So I have this here. Could either install potential extension bundles by hand, which in this case I wouldn't so much need to. But if everything is already installed, I could go down here to where's this? Yeah, this part, download and install extension bundles. He will connect to the SPSS server, which might take a few moments. And then he lists all the possible extensions available. So here I always have the name, what it is, a short summary and description what it actually does, which version is installed, which version is available, and in the right part I can select whether I want to install this. So for example, if I just go down here, I see for example in this part, this would be quantile regression approach. There's a newer version available than the one which I have already installed. So if I want to install the new version, I could just click on select and then later click here on OK for him to install them. And well, that's then already all I wanted to explain on how to actually get those extensions. If you want to access them, you simply just use your menu, as you know this, and then in this menu you might notice there are some parts with a plus sign. That's actually all those parts which are available via the R Essentials. Here, one final word of warning. Due to the fact that some of those things are available and they are listed there, however, they might require newer parts from R. So this could actually be a problem if, as here, you're using, for example, SPSS 23, you're only using R 3.1, but you want to use, for example, here inequality measures. Inequality measures, however, needs a package which is only available in R 3.6. So there could be a problem, so you first have to try out the different functionalities and check whether they're actually working in the version you have available. So it could be that at some point, not in a lot, but in some point it doesn't actually quite go hand in hand. But as you can see, it provides you with a lot of additional functionalities in SPSS. And well, that's then everything there is to this introduction on the R Essentials. So I hope you enjoyed listening to it. And if you want to see more on SPSS, and in particular also on some select essential packages, feel free to visit the rest of this course or have a look at the corresponding playlist. I say goodbye and see you next time.